Hi, I'm your host, Erika Polsinelli, and welcome to Evolve by Erika The Podcast, where we talk all things spirituality, ascension, health, wellness, and beyond. I'm so excited that you are here. Come on in. Hi, guys, and welcome back to another solo episode. And today I wanted to talk about comparison. And I'll tell you honestly why this has come up. I was with my acupuncturist the other day, and I was telling her how I just want more energy. I want to be able to be extroverted, but also then be able to come home and have the energy to cook or clean, but also work and give my loved ones all the energy I want to give them. And I brought this up to her while she was checking in on me, just seeing like, how are you feeling? What's going on? And I told her this. And she looked at me and was like, is that something new that we need to work on? Or is that just you? And I laughed. And I was like, no, it's just me. And I know that, but I was hoping you maybe had a meridian that could help boost it a little bit. And she laughed and she was like, Erika, listen, there are introverted people, there are extroverted people, and you know, as well as everyone else, that everyone is different and everyone requires something different. And it seems like you really need to reserve a lot of your and conserve a lot of your energy. And you need to really work on ways to rebuild your energy. And that's something that we've been talking about because I tell her how I get drained easily and all the things. And I laughed and I'm like, yeah, you got me. You're right. I knew it was me. And just how I am at my core and how much I need to recharge and how I have a certain amount to give and then I have to recharge. And it got me to thinking about the energy of comparison. Because sometimes in some moments, I find myself comparing myself. I was comparing myself in that moment to my friend who every time I'm around her, I feel so energized. But I also started to think like, wow, I feel so energized when I'm around her. Is she always energized? And is she always doing and able to just like go and go and go? And I honestly didn't get to the bottom of it because it does not matter what she's doing and what she's capable of. What matters is what we as individuals are doing and able to do and capable of on an individual level. And I think that's why I love human design so much, because being a projector, it's really helped me to accept myself more and accept how much recharging and rest I need. And that's why I always am telling other people about human design, because it really gives you this inside look at who you are at your soul level and embracing that as your strengths and not seeing it as weaknesses. But anytime we look around and start to compare, we're automatically allowing ourselves to magnify what we think or perceive as our weakness. And in Kundalini, there is a saying that I've shared before. It's compare, compete, confuse. Because as soon as you start looking elsewhere or comparing yourself to someone else, you are going to lead yourself to confusion. Or as soon as you start to compete with someone else, you're coming out of this higher soul consciousness and you're coming onto a very 3D plane. So having the awareness over when we're starting to compare or when we're starting to compete, knowing that we're doing that and just trying to end it right then and right there. And I think there is this fine line between using other people as inspiration and motivation and then using it to compare and then feel lack about ourselves. And that's a line that we all need to figure out. Like, where are we getting our inspiration from? Where do we have those friendships or those connections that light us up and help us to step into our higher self through example and through inspiration? And then it's a very different frequency, because when we're doing that, we're feeling lit up, we're feeling inspired, we're feeling charged up with energy. But then when we're actually comparing ourselves to someone else, it is the opposite. It's an energy of lack and depletion, and it's taking away from our energy and only highlighting what we feel we lack. So I feel like no matter where we are, whether it's professionally or individually or in a relationship or within a family, we can all fall into this comparison game. And I'm telling you now, a huge disclaimer, it is the thief of your peace, your joy, your happiness, and your contentment. Period, the end. So anytime we catch ourselves coming into this state of comparison, we need to recognize that, have the awareness over it, and immediately shut it down. And you could even think to yourself that's saying compare, compete, confuse. Because anytime you're doing those two things, it's going to result in confusion and not feeling aligned to your soul. And energetically, what starts to happen when we compare ourselves is we are draining our energy and again, highlighting, focusing on what we think we lack. So we're going to feel more into that lack or what we don't have rather than either seeing that exact thing as a strength and how it actually makes us who we are and how it better serves us and our soul to lean into that, or focusing on all the other strengths that we have. And when we compartmentalize things like that, it just gets very hazy, confusing, gray, and completely drains our energy. And with all of this talk about comparison, I think the other aspect has to be acknowledged too, is when we look at other people, places, or things, or whatever it may be as inspiration, sometimes we do learn about ourselves. You know what? I can be a little bit better in this area, or I aspire to be more like this. And there's a healthy relationship there too. But like I said before, when you have these thoughts, try your best to have the awareness to label them as inspiration or comparison. And in that moment, you will know if you should continue to fuel it or if you should just back away and clear it. Because anytime we are comparing, we're depleting our energy. And the truth is, we're all so different. We all have these different strengths and wonderful, beautiful things about ourselves. And sometimes without that thing that we perceive as a weakness, would we have the same strengths? And I challenge you to think about that and challenge yourself to try and uncover that within yourself if you ever feel stuck within the energy of comparison. With this, I just want to remind everyone that it's normal. It's part of the human journey. We all have those thoughts of comparison and those moments where it comes up. And we can really see that as a space of how we intend to grow and how maybe we can expand into our higher form without it taking away who we truly are at a soul level and at our core. So being able to come into that space of, I'm looking at this, I'm comparing myself to someone who has more energy and who could do more than me in a day, because that sounds really enticing and I want to do more in a day. But then coming back to me, I can start to think, okay, what are some systems I could put into place to help me feel more efficient? Where can I recharge on a deeper level so that maybe I can maximize my energy? And getting really honest with myself to see if there are any gaps or any spaces that are draining my energy and that I could bring back to me. And then in that same moment, accepting that it's natural and normal for someone else to need more time alone or more time to recharge. And I accept that about myself while continuing to support my body, my frequency, my energy, my soul, and being the most energized I can possibly be. So with these thoughts of comparison, sometimes it can bring us a little bit of a lens of how we can grow, how we can shift, what changes we need to bring in. But having the awareness and knowing what's constructive and what's draining is super important. And I just challenge you to always know you have the voice of your higher self within you and allow that voice to come through. That could sound like the voice of your intuition, your higher self, your angels, your guides. Create time and space when you're in moments, in the thick of comparison, or in moments, a heated moment of anger or frustration or resentment or whatever, invite the voice of your higher self in if it doesn't come naturally to you. And say, guide, spirit, my higher self, higher Erika, whatever it may be that you want to call upon, I would love to hear your voice here. Please allow me to hear you, to have this connection with you so I can have the awareness of what's constructive for me and what's depleting for me. And some of you may naturally receive that voice and that nudge, like I gratefully do, but I didn't always receive that. And that's why I wanted to kind of break that down for you and teach you how to do that, because for so long I didn't have that voice. And I would ask that simply what I shared with you. I would just say, Spirit guides, I want to have a connection to you. I want to be able to receive higher information from higher realms that can guide me to my highest life path. You can add that to your morning meditation. You can add that in moments of frustration or difficulty. Start to just create that space, create that dialogue, and it might not happen instantly, but eventually you will hear the voice and it will start to come in. Everyone has that capability. And of course, in addition to that, your meditation practice will continue to foster that. So as much time as you can take to really get quiet in your meditation, go longer and deeper. If that's a skill you want to build, it will come from there. But I think it is important to give your higher self, your spirit guides, whatever you want to call it, a formal invitation. I invite you in. I want to receive messages and I want to have communication with you. And from there, you can bring that energy forth in these moments of whether it's comparison or just heavier energy, and receive the guidance on how to use it constructively, how to use it to expand, how to take it and transmute it into a higher frequency going forward. I hope that this was helpful. If there's any other solo episodes that you'd love to hear about, please write in. You could DM me. I try to read every single DM that I receive. But this is like our little hotline to divine together as an evolved community. And I love going there with these types of conversations. So feel free to write in any other topics you'd want to chat about. But I just want to thank you always for being here and for having these conversations with me and my higher self. And if you are loving the podcast, if you feel guided to rate and review it, share it with a friend, I would appreciate all the above. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to see you next time.